In BMW's universe, all SUVs are equal, and therefore it's no surprise that the Bavarian carmaker competes with coupe SUV body styles, even in the entry-level subcompact segment. Of course, we are talking about the X2, which is usually seen as a more stylish and less practical version of the more conventional X1. And now, it gets a complete redesign and becomes even better than the original, more attractive, more comfortable, and even better to drive. Do you need anything else from a small crossover? With the 2024 BMW X2, the Bavarian carmaker brings a completely new iteration of its subcompact coupe SUV. The second generation is here, and it brings a full batch of novelties, starting from a completely new styling. Aesthetics are always what we notice first on a new model, and the X2 definitely has a lot of new things to show. Of course, the well-known coupe SUV silhouette is once again there, but with a more rugged and more muscular look than before. The most notable changes are at the front, where you can easily notice that the latest design language has been applied. Practically, the face looks the same as on the X1, with redesigned headlights, bigger and bolder grille, and other enhancements. Overall, the new face looks more aggressive than before, sharper and edgier, but it doesn't lose much of its elegance. The same is true with the rear-end design, where the new headlights dominate, along with new exhaust pipes and sharper bumper. From the side, the classic coupe SUV layout is there, but somehow sleeker than before, probably because of the fact that the new generation is longer, not just than the first generation X2, but the new X1 as well, for about 2.6 inches. The wheelbase is also longer and now is nearly 106 inches. All this makes the crossover look sleeker and also brings much-needed improvements in terms of the passenger and cargo space, though not significant. Despite the all-new looks, changes on the new X2 are actually mostly evolutionary. On paper, the base design remains largely the same, as the second-generation model is also based on the UKL2 platform. But Bavarian engineers have been pretty busy, and that results in a completely reworked front suspension. The classic McPherson strut is still there, but with a completely new design that reduces torque, steer, and increases stability in a straight line. Moreover, the second-generation X2 also gets new dampers, which improve comfort without sacrificing the handling and the overall performance. And considering the platform, BMW purists may complain again about the front-wheel drive bias setup, but in reality, this is a genuine BMW when it comes to driving experience. After all, a front-wheel drive platform doesn't mean much considering that all models for the North American market will feature standard all-wheel drive. The all-new 2024 BMW X2 will be offered in two variants in North America, either as the xDrive 28i or M35i. As the name suggests, the M35i gets typical treatment from the Bavarian performance division. But the big novelty is that even the base xDrive 28i can be fitted with the M Sport package, which in reality means a full load of upgrades. Some of the most notable details are body parts, like the front bumper, with new air intakes, as well as the side skirts. Furthermore, the package also includes a rear diffuser and 19-inch M alloy wheels, which can be upgraded to 20 and 21 inches. The M package also brings various upgrades on the inside, starting from upgraded sports seats with much better side support compared to base seats. Furthermore, the instrument cluster gets wrapped with Alcantara, while the M leather-wrapped steering wheel comes with shift paddles. But that's not all. The customization options continue with a variety of M-exclusive options, starting from the M Sport Professional package, which brings black mirrors, M Sport brakes with red calipers, shadowline headlights, and a rear spoiler. Furthermore, there are a bunch of standalone options. As expected, the second-generation X2 continues to follow the path of the more conventional sibling, the X1. On the inside, that is reflected in the same dashboard design, which brings notable improvement in terms of build quality and the selection of materials. Of course, the dashboard is highlighted by a massive curved panel that incorporates two screens, one for the instrument cluster and one for the infotainment. Both screens are pretty large and offer crisp graphics. What's also worth mentioning is that the new infotainment system is Android operated, and we really like its quick response and easy navigation, along with advanced BMW digital premium in-car gaming, audio, and streaming services. Speaking of the advanced tech features, the new X2 features the Driving Assistant Professional for the first time, an advanced system based on radars and cameras, designed to improve cruise control significantly. The Parking Assistant Plus also gets a big upgrade and now offers even more help with parallel and perpendicular parking. Also new is the Drive Recorder, whereas a built-in dash camera has the ability to record up to 60 seconds of footage during an accident. As for the passenger space, we presume that the size increase will provide a few more inches of legroom, though we are pretty sure that the headroom will once again be compromised by that attractive sloping roofline. The officials have been quiet about the passenger space so far. On the other hand, the total cargo volume goes up to 51.7 cubic feet in total, 1.6 cubic feet more compared to the outgoing generation. A redesign can't be complete without powertrain upgrades, so the 2024 BMW X2 gets its portion as well. At first, things may look pretty similar to the previous generation, considering the same displacement of 2 liters. However, the well-known Turbo 4 has been upgraded and updated and now features a max output of 241 horsepower, 13 horses more than the previous version. That may not seem as much on paper, but it definitely has a positive effect on driving dynamics and the overall performance. Speaking of performances, the base xDrive 28, I will be able to hit 60 in about 6.2 seconds, while the top speed will go up to 149 miles per hour. As for the M35i, it will also feature a Turbo 4 engine, but this version of a 2-liter Turbo 4 unit will be good for about 312 horsepower, which is enough for a 0 to 60 sprint in about 5 seconds, as well as a top speed of 155 miles per hour. This redesign brings all kinds of novelties, and one of them will be an all-electric version. However, this model won't come to North America. Instead, it will perform primarily in Europe, and there, you may count on a pretty interesting setup, based on a couple of electric motors with one on each axle. The total output is rated at around 310 horsepower and 364 pound-feet of torque, which is enough for this crossover, which will carry the iX2 moniker to hit 60 in about 5.6 seconds. Besides plenty of power, the iX2 will also offer a decent range. According to the manufacturer, this coupe SUV will be able to make around 279 miles on a single charge, which is actually a slight improvement over the more conventional X1. The thing we don't like is the 130 kilowatt charging rate, which feels a little underperforming, especially if we consider rivals from companies like Hyundai, which feature a pretty advanced 350 kilowatt technology in all models. The all-electric X2 isn't the only variant of the new crossover that won't be offered to North American buyers. As expected, the European model carries with a diesel version on offer, despite the strict emissions standards. The good old 2-liter inline-4 turbo diesel is still available in a variant that puts out around 150 horsepower. Also, European drivers can count on a smaller entry-level gasoline version based on a 1.5-liter 3-cylinder unit rated at 156 horsepower. But this small 3-cylinder engine comes as a part of a mild hybrid setup, which also includes a small 19-horsepower electric motor. So, the combined output is actually rated at 170 horsepower and 177 pound-feet of torque. That's enough to hit 60 in about 8 seconds, which is not bad at all for an entry-level version. Although it's been a while since the new X2 had its premiere, North American drivers will have to wait a bit more before they see it in showrooms. The US launch will happen next spring, and despite all the improvements, there is one thing you probably won't like: the price. Namely, given the inflation and the general trend of prices going up regularly in the past few years, it was kinda expected to see some increase after the redesign. But if we consider that the outgoing model starts slightly under $38,000 and that the new one will cost almost $43,000 in the most basic variant, some may wonder if all these improvements are worth an extra $5,000. Is this going to have a negative effect on sales? Only time will tell. What do you think about the all-new second-generation 2024 BMW X2? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.